So, hello everyone, and welcome along to another night of TGB1 Racing in Season 41. It is round 17 and 18 coming at you from the Autodromo di Nazionale Monza for the Italian Grand Prix, and then the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix, rounds 17 and 18. Quickly do a rundown of the championship standings. As confirmed last week, the Soft Cop has already won the championship. He's currently on 338 points. He'll be hoping to add to that points tally tonight. Casper is in second on 219, with Cam in third on 182. So there's still a little bit of a battle going on for second and third. Machine Fishy is in fourth on 159, and Jack Hickman is in fifth on 135. Moving on to the two races tonight, like I said, we've got two races. One from the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. That is round 17. It's a 50% race round here tonight as well. First ever TGP 50% race. So that'll be very interesting to see. And the other race is a one-shot qualifying with 25% distance for Austria. So just seeing John has come towards the end of a flying lap as he enters the pit lane, actually. And I'd like to welcome in the co-commentator for tonight, Jack Craig. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to begin the penultimate week of TGB1. What a season it has been, and the first ever 50% Grand Prix. I'm excited to see if the guys are up for the challenge.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see if these guys are up to the challenge, getting ready to go for the races here at Monza and Austria. We've got about 4 minutes to go left in this qualifying session. Machine Fishy currently fastest with provisional pole of 1 minute 19.0. Soft Cop second on a 1:19.2. John is in third on a 19.3. So it's quite close up the front. Only 3 tenths covering the top 4 at the moment, and 5 tenths covering down to 7th. But Monza is normally one of those circuits where the field is quite compact, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a close circuit. Everyone's kind of similar pace. There's not much time to gain around here, but Jack Hickey's coming up to the line to look to improve, and he goes into the top 10. He won't be too happy with that, but everyone now going to be getting towards their final run. I think Casper is the only man yet to set a really representable lap time. He's improving by a second, which isn't actually going to be enough to even move him up one place, but Casper may be struggling in the session so far, but he is improving by 3 seconds through Ascari. He goes now on the final straight, but there's no DRS on the run up to Parabolica. You will get a nice bit of slipstream on the car ahead, but the car will move out the way. Going into the final corner, you would hope, and Casper's not going to get what he would hope, but you'll get a nice slipstream up to the line. This is going to be the last run before the final runs get going. It's Casper, third in the championship. He goes into P3, and that's a much better lap time for the ERT driver.
Yes, it is up to P3 with the 19.3. Soft Cop just starting to fly in lap in the Aston Martin. We're going to ride on board with him as he heads down towards turn 1, Jack.
Here we go through turn 1. Very hard brake and get nice rotation right and then nice rotation left. Softy nice and easy on the throttle pedal. Get some good traction now through the first couple of corners. Now on the run up to another hard braking zone on the circuit, obviously, where Charles Leclerc has had so many great overtakes, and Softy rides the curbs, and it's good so far as he goes purple in sector 1. There's a wee bit of a yellow flag ahead of him, but he managed to avoid any drama through the 2 double right-handers. Now this is where you can invalidate your lap time, but Softy takes it very well. He'll open up the DRS, he'll get a nice wee dose of slipstream off the car ahead. Thank you very much, says the championship winner of season 41, and it's 2 tenths up as we go through Ascari. He avoids the curbs that are going to put him in the wall, and he's going to be improving at the moment to take provisional pole position. Another lovely bit of toe off the Ferrari ahead, and it's all fallen in line for Softy as it has all season on his final run. And oh, he's gone off the track, and that may have just cost him a chance at pole position on the run up to the line, and it has. He does improve, but that final corner has cost him a chance at pole.
Yeah, it did indeed. That run to the line, just getting the Parabolica just slightly wide on the exit, running wide, has a snapper oversteer, and that has cost Softy pole position in this session. Machine Island just coming out on an outlap. We're going to ride with his teammate now, John, as he enters the Variante di Rettifiglio, the first chicane here at Monza. So, and he's backing off actually. He's going to wait and maybe following his teammate behind. See if anyone else is on a flying lap. Is caught. He's not on a flying lap. Alistair, is he on a flying lap? I would say so. He's currently down in 11th with a 19.7. And what's his first sector time going to be? He's got the two Alfa Romeos in front of him. One's gotten out of the way, but is the other one going to get out of the way? Yeah, just spots him. He's a 10th down, though. I think those Alphas distracted him there.
Yeah, I think the Alphas have cost him a bit of time. They're also going to have to back off, hold on to the fuel, hold on to the battery if he can, and get back up. He's still looking like he's pushing at the moment, but his battery's going up, so I think Alistair's going to maybe try get back round for a lap. Dom Smith currently ramming round the final corner. He's improving by just under a tenth of a second. Obviously his championship battle is with the man ahead of him in P12. It's Lewis Craig in the Haas. What can Dom Smith do on the run up to the line? He can't quite sneak it away from Lewis, and it looks like Dom will be no higher than 13th going on to the final couple of runs. Matt Tibos, he's on a lap. He's improving by a tenth of a second, and he's gone very deep, and the commentators curse for everyone on this laps in the final run up to qualifying, killing everybody.
Yeah, I think he's messed up the Lesmo, so the second Lesmo, so that is his lap done. And we have the two Red Bulls running line astern now. Machine Island currently on provisional pole. He'll be looking to extend that gap. He's got his teammate sitting in the slipstream behind, just close enough to be able to get a slight distant tow, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it'll be a distant tow. It won't be too much of a tow. It's not going to help him out. Machine Ireland's lap was so good previously. He's not improving on this one. He kind of got in Johnner's way on the previous lap, so Johnner's will be wanting a better time this time around. But through the first lesson when we go with Machine Ireland, he avoids the curve and he's invalidated. He's gone right over the curb, so it's down to Johners now, who's not quite improving on his lap time. Can he break into the top three? Can he get onto the front row of the grid? Will the Red Bull driver, his teammate Machine Ireland, try and help him as we go through the DRS zone? He moves out of the way into Scary Johners, goes, uses all the track he can, but it's not looking quite quick enough
he's
for
still
Johners to improve.
10th down at the minute as he heads towards Parabolica now. What's Johnner's going to do? Currently in P4, needs to make 3 attempts to get himself onto that front row. I don't think he'll be able to do it. He was running a 10th down. He gets towards the line now. Just got to use all the power, put his foot on the accelerator as hard as he can. Lewis Craig is up to 3rd. What performance from him. And Johnner stays 5th.
And Lewis Craig might be losing that front row of the grid because the first Williams, the Speed Kai, is looking quick. Round the Parabolica we go in the Williams. The man that's been so close to a race win the last few weeks, but it's not fallen for him. Will it be pole position for Kai? It's 3rd. Lewis Craig bumped down to 4th. His teammate Cam will be next. And it's going to be 2 tenths of a gap he's improving by, but will it be enough? He steals 3rd. So it's a Williams for 2nd row on the grid, and Lewis Craig bumped down into 5th, and Dan the man has actually sneaked up into 6th as well.
Yeah, Dan the man snuck up to 6th in the end, but that is the end of your qualifying session here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, the Monza circuit here in Italy. Ready to go for round 17, the first ever 50% race in TGB1 history. So here's a full rundown of the grid. Machine Fishy is on pole with a 19 dead, 11 thousandths ahead of Softy, who will join him on the front row, reigning and defending champion. Cam and Kai, the two Williams, are 3rd and 4th. Lewis Craig is in 5th. They've got Dan the man in 6th. Casper in 7th. John is in 8th. Jack Hickey in 9th, and then Matt Tibos rounding out the top 10. Alistair Bain in 11th, Court in 12th. Then we've got Wet Lemons, Don Smith, Chris Johnson, Sheckways, Lorraine, who's taken a break from presenting on TV. Who would have known Lorraine taking a break from presenting her own TV show, is in 17th, and the last person to set a time with Phil Bargell at the back of the grid with his qualifying ban. So, getting ready to go for 26 or 27 laps. I can't remember off the top of my head how many laps it does around Monza for 50%. I was just doing some mental maths of it being 53 laps in real life. We've heard it potentially might be dry to wet in this race as well. So very difficult for the drivers to tackle this 3.6 mile circuit.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks where if it's going to be dry at any stage of the race, you can't really run the risk of higher wings because you're just going to be a sitting duck for the Grand Prix. Someone who's not running high wings is definitely Lewis Craig up in P5. What a qualifying it was for the Haasman, and that looks like his battle with Dom and Chris Johnson for 12th in the standings is going to be over if Lewis can avoid any drama into turn 1. I do believe it is 27 laps, the 50% Grand Prix. And hopefully we won't have too many safety cars, and hopefully everyone can survive turn 1 without any incidents.
That'll be important to do indeed. So the drivers making their final preparations. The Tifosi will be hoping that Dom Smith and Phil Bardrell do a good job for them today as they get ready to go for the first ever 50% race in TGP1. The lights are on. There's 4 lights. There's 5 lights on here. And it's lights out and away we go. And it looks like a strong start from the front row from Machine Island. It's not, he's just about snuck out ahead. Softy's had quite a poor start. He's got a Williams to his outside as they head in towards the first chicane for the first time. And Machine Island's off! He's off. He's gone straight on at the first chicane. He's surely going to have to back off, let people back past. Softy is into the lead of the race. He's got a 5-second penalty for cutting the chicane as well. And Lewis Craig is up into third. It's a side-by-side battle behind between Kai and Lewis Craig as they head towards the Variante della Roggia for the first time in this race. And Lewis Craig is up into second. Kai down to third. John is in fourth. Dan the Man is in fifth. And they're side-by-side on the exit, heading towards the first Lesmo. And who's going to be coming out in front? It's Kai. Lewis Craig slots into third. Then we've got John is in fourth. And Dan the Man in fifth. It's very hectic as we go through the second Lesmo and onto the back straight for the first time, Jack.
Well, it's a dream start for Softy. He got into P1, the lead of the race, and then had Lewis Craig as a buffer behind, but he's in trouble from Johners, who's on the soft compound of tyres. Softy had a bad start, but he's on the hard, so he's going long in this early stint in this race. But Speed Kai now, he's gotten it back under a second to Softy ahead. Johners now is under pressure from Dan the Man, and Dan the Man just coming into the slipstream, moves to the right hand side, but thinks better of making a move. But someone who's not thinking of making a move
Kai's
is
round.
Casper. Oh, and Kai's round as well.
Kai has spun it, going into the Parabolica. He's down, he's tumbling down the field. He's down towards the back with his teammate Cam. Something's happened to Cam at the start. Johners is going to look to the inside of Lewis Craig. He gets himself up to P2. Is Dan the Man going to look to the inside as well? No, Johners gets the position. And he's up into P2 on those soft tyres. Lewis Craig down in third. We're going to have a quick look at what tyres everyone is starting this race on. And it's pretty much mediums or hards for the majority of the field, apart from Johners, who's on the softs, as there's a battle going on. They're side by side, Dan and Lewis Craig. And Lewis Craig is down in position. He's getting a tag from behind from Machine Island. He's put himself back up into fourth as he's got a penalty. He's down to fifth. Jack Hickey has got past as well. So after a great qualifying from Lewis Craig, he's tumbling down the order now.
Going to be hard for him to hold on to that position. He's kind of out of place, respectfully speaking, at the front of the grid in TGP1. He's under pressure from Matt Tibos now, his teammate in the Haas, who's obviously fighting the guys for a high standing in the championship. He managed to overtake Casper on the previous lap. It was a good move from Matt Tibos, obviously former TGP1 champion, but he's actually under pressure from Casper now. The Alpine driver going to try make the move back up into P7. He's not quite got the straight line speed to do it this time around, but Johners on the soft tyres doing what he needs to do, and up into P2. Can he catch that 1 second gap now to Softy, as Casper and Matt are still side by side round the final corner on the start finish straight, and Casper now does get back up ahead, and DRS is now enabled. Lewis Craig looking to try get back past Jack Hickey. He's moving to the right, just letting Jack Hickey know he's there.
Yeah, he is indeed. And yeah, Casper on those medium tyres with Tibos on the hard tyres. I think that was all the difference there coming out of Parabolica. Just that extra compound grip advantage that Casper had was enough for him to get the move done halfway down the main straight. So it's been a hectic opening few laps here at Monza, and it's still going on. Lewis Craig all over the back of Jack Hickey. That is the battle for 5th and 6th. But we've got battles up and down the field. It's so hard to keep up with, Jack.
Absolutely, what a beginning to the Grand Prix it's been. A few incidents seem to be self-inflicted. It didn't seem to be too many crashes, but Lewis Craig, Casper, that is the battle at the moment. It's the closest one on the circuit. With DRS this time around, Lewis is going to be able to hang on before Ascari. And look at Johners, he's absolutely flying. He managed to get that gap down to around 5 tenths, but Softy using the downforce to his advantage through Ascari gets it back up to 1 second. Johners at this phase of the Grand Prix really needs to use the tyres on that Red Bull to his advantage.
He does indeed. Meanwhile, Lewis Craig is looking at the back of Jack Hickman. Once again, he's within 4 tenths of him going around the Parabolica. DRS is going to be wide open on that ass going down the straight, but Casper is all over the back of him as well. Could there be a double overtake here? Is Jack Hickey a sitting duck? Let's see as we head down towards the Variante della Ratifilia for the first time. 4th time in this race, and we see Hickey hold on. Lewis Craig and Casper still line astern in 5th, 6th and 7th.
Yeah, he was biding his time. Lewis Craig, he's getting closer and closer as the laps go on. Dan the Man did get passed by Machine Ireland, but he didn't put up much of a fight. Obviously, Machine Ireland did get a time penalty for cutting the first corner on the beginning of the lap. Johners, he gets that gap to around 5/10 of a second, and Softy manages to extend it back to around a second. So Softy doing what he needs to do at the moment on his hard stint before he goes onto the softs. Obviously, Softy will be hoping that there's no safety cars this Grand Prix. But Casper now, he's ahead of Lewis Craig with the DRS, a bit of the battery being used, and Lewis Craig knows he's not going to be able to fight that at this stage of the Grand Prix. Lewis just needs to hang on to his battery and hold on to these guys at the pit stop phase. He now needs to try and stay ahead of Matt Tibos, his teammate, who's obviously on the hard tyre, so Lewis doesn't want to get passed by him soon. And Casper now, can he attack Jack Hickey on the start-finish straight? You'd imagine he can. The Alpine looks quick.
Yeah, the Alpine does look quick indeed as we head round the Parabolica, starting lap number 5 in this race. He's got to be passed before he even gets to the DRS. Straight past, DRS wide open on that Alpine, and he breezes past Jack Hickey. That's him up into P5. Jack Hickey down into P6. Like you quickly mentioned there, battery management is going to be a key factor in this race. It's the longest distance TGP has ever done, 50% race distance. So it's a bit of an unknown for many of the drivers.
Yeah, the guys just need to hang on. Obviously, the league has always been 25 or 35%, so it's a bit of a different atmosphere as you see the Ferraris swapping positions. Phil had said, that's plenty, let me pass Dom, and they swapped the positions now. Phil, can he attack New Zealand Calm for the final couple of points in TGP1? You'd hope they can get up the field. Softy now, his tyres seem to be at a working window where they are very much quicker than Johnner's softs. Johners, he's going to be coming into the pit sooner rather than later because his teammate is absolutely flying and catching
his teammate with his 5-second penalty for that incident at the start is catching him, and he'll probably be let past down the main straight, I could imagine, as you see Machine Island closing on the back of his teammate. Dan the Man lurking in the distance, he's only 6/10 behind, and there's about a second back to Casper, just outside the DRS of Dan the Man at the moment, as we see the two Red Bulls onto the main straight starting lap number 6 here in Monza, and we see the switch happen between the two Red Bull drivers. Machine Island up into P2, John is back down to P3.
Yeah, no DRS on the Red Bull, that is now in P3. He's got no battery compared to his teammate 9 to fight with. He knows his battle is coming up the next stage of the Grand Prix. That is Calm into the top 10 now. The Williams driver made a mistake earlier on in the Grand Prix. He needs to get his move on. He's worked his way back up. Lewis Craig though, he's kind of settled into the race now in P7, but he's been stuck behind the McLaren of Jack Hickey, and obviously Jack Hickey, former champion, it's not someone to take lightly. Jack Hickey doing what he can to hold on to 6, but those guys have done a good job on holding on to Casper, and Casper seems to be struggling now. He's got into Sinclair. He's not been able to attack Dan the Man like we would have thought he would have been able to earlier on in the Grand Prix.
Well, I think it's one of those where it's quite easy to stick in someone's slipstream once they get past. Casper had no DRS to help him out, so he's had to put in some legwork to get within DRS of Dan the Man, which he just is outside of currently, and that's helping Hickey, Lewis Craig and Matt Tibos just stay in touch and follow around Casper. They may not have the pace, but if they can hang on to him, that would be a big advantage to their Grand Prix.
And the Alpine has got no battery left, and he's actually got his fuel light on, so Casper going to be doing some fuel saving later on in the Grand Prix, or hoping for a safety car. Pretty risky this early on in the Grand Prix to be running out of fuel, but the safety car will save him if there is one. Machine Ireland though, he's got some good pace even with his time penalty. A missing turn man, he's managing to keep up with Softy. Obviously the tyre advantage at this stage should be in the Red Bull driver's favour, but maybe we will get a battle for the victory come the end. It'll be nice to see Machine Ireland battle Softy, even if the time penalty does come into it. And Jack Hickey now, he's right on the tail of Casper, maybe using all that battery to catch Dan the Man, going to cost the Alpine driver, because look how close Hickey is into the final end of Sector 1.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely getting closer and closer to the back of that Alpine. Like you said, Casper has used a lot of energy and a lot of fuel to try and get his way back up through the field, and it looks like it may hurt him in the short term at least anyway, as we see Jack Hickey, DRS wide open, overtake being used by the McLaren driver, is going to be up the inside into Ascari, gets the move done, and he's up back into 5th place. Casper down to 6th.
And it's actually compromised Casper's run onto the back straight. Jack Hickey now, he's going to have to defend possibly from the Alpine, but Lewis Craig is looking to have a wee sniff as well. He's right on the back of Casper, so Casper, who passed these guys with absolute ease, is now struggling to hold on. He's been passed by the
Meanwhile, further
McLaren.
up the field, Dan the Man's looking at a move for Jodders. This is the battle for P3 and P4. Those soft tyres are falling away for Jodders on that Red Bull. He's going to go down the inside, gets the move done. Dan the Man up into P3. Meanwhile, Casper and Lewis Craig also swapping positions sideways, and Jack Hickey's round. Jack Hickey's round. He's down. He's tumbling down the order. Casper back up into 5th. Lewis Craig in 6th. And to that, Tibos is down in 7th place. I didn't see what happened to Jack Hickey there, but he spun it round. Casper was sideways entering the corner, locked up those rear brakes. And there's a position switch for Haas as well, as they've swapped positions. Matt Tibos into 6th and Lewis Craig into 7th. But can you enlighten us on what happened there with Jack Hickey?
I actually have no idea. I just seen the McLaren spin round. I'm not sure if Casper maybe broke too late or if Jack Hickey just spun it, but it compromised Casper and it compromised Lewis, as Lewis got absolutely passed by Matt Tibbles and there was nothing he could do. And Matt Tibbles now, his tyres seem to be coming into a life of their own. He's so much quicker than Casper, and Machine Ireland is actually right on the back of Softy for the lead of the Grand Prix.
I was just about to mention that. Machine Ireland going into the Parabolica, entering the 8th time in this Grand Prix. He's all over the back of Softy in that Aston Martin. Softy on the hard tyres, Machine Ireland on the mediums, and the mediums look like the best tyre to be on for pace anyway at the moment. He's going to have the DRS. He's going to try and get a move done in towards the first chicane, but I don't think he's going to quite be close enough this time round. No, he isn't. He has to hold off for the time being. Meanwhile, Tebos up the inside and well past Casper before the braking zone of the first chicane. He's up into P5, Casper down to P6.
Yeah, Matt Tibbles made a nice move. He got in the power nice and early from the Parabolica and managed to sail past the Alpine. And the Alpine's race at the moment not going the way he would have liked. Calm now, he's making up some good positions though. Back up into P8, the Williams may become a factor towards the end of this Grand Prix. And Johners, he's hanging on to his softs quite well actually. He's managed to hold on to Dan the Man for that final step on the podium. And maybe Johners one to watch out for come the end of the Grand Prix. But Casper now, he needs to try and hold on to Matt Tibbles, because he cannot afford to fall into a race where he's battling Lewis Craig, because it could cost him time. And he's planning on getting back past the other half of Matt Tibbles, but he's not going to be able to do it at this part of the track as he backs off going into the Ascari.
Yeah, meanwhile, further up the field, Machine Island again all over the back of Softy. These two are line astern. This is first and second on the road and first and second in the championship. Softy already with the championship wrapped up. He's just looking to add to his win tally for the season and add towards a potential all-time record attempt in the near future. So we see Machine Island getting closer and closer, using that DRS. He's using a bit of overtake as well. Is he going to be close enough to make a move into the first chicane? Yes, he is. He's down the inside. He gets the move done, and that is a new race leader. Machine Island into the lead, and he's up into the lead of this race. Softy will be wanting to fight back quickly. And Casper's made a mistake, and he's tumbling down the field as well. So we see Softy all over the back of Machine Island going into the Variante della Rocha, and poor run there through Machine Island, completely messed up the chicane, and he's lost the position that he's worked so hard to gain.
Yeah, disaster for the Red Bull, all that work and then it tumbles away in the blink of an eye. The consistency this season is what's killed the guys battling Softy for the championship. It's allowed him to run away with race wins at important stages of the season, and Softy now just needs to try and hang on as those mediums are going to start going off. And Johners, the softs seem to be coming back to him because he's catching down. Car Machine Ireland get back past Softy as he's been trying for the last 9 laps. Can he do it on lap number 11 as we come round the Parabolica now? 2 tenths is the gap. Softy has a full battery, not going to be pitting anytime soon. Can the Red Bull finally retake the lead of the Grand Prix that he had that seemed for about 20 seconds? He does. He sails past the Aston Martin of Softy and is into the lead again on lap number 11. Lewis Craig did get past his teammate and he's just been repassed by his teammate. The Haas is battling over 4th and 5th as I believe Johners has stopped and will go into the hard tyres now till the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, Johners is in, Jack Hickey in, both making a pit stop. Softy looking to make a move at the back of Machine Island, hoping he makes a mistake into the chicane like he did last lap, but he gets through it cleanly this time. He'll just be hoping to stick on. It's a virtual safety car. It's a virtual safety car because I believe Waze is out the race. Yes, he is. I can see a car stopped at the exit of Ascari, so that's the reason for the virtual safety car. He's had an accident coming out of the Ascari chicane.
And I wonder if anyone in the pit stops there were helped by that VSC. Didn't seem to be too much of an advantage, so I think everyone will be okay. But obviously you can manipulate the VSC a wee bit. That kind of helps Machine Ireland survive from Softy for now. Not under any pressure at the moment.
Well, he's got a 5-second time penalty, and of course they have to be served in the pit stops as we go back racing again, so they didn't even get a chance to make advantage of that and pit under the VSC, the lead group. I don't think really anyone made advantage of that, to be honest, as you see Softy.
Craig has, he's through into P3, P4.
Well, he's up there because Johners and that have pitted, as we see Softy all over the back of Machine Island. He's going to return the favour, get the move done. DRS wide open, use a bit of overtake. That's the position back again. And these two, I think, are going to be swapping positions for a little while until they start pitting. As Dan the Man is just lurking in the background. Matt Tibos puts himself up into P4 as well. That battle is still continuing on. The battle for 4th, 5th and 6th on the road at the moment. That's a battle for P5 once everyone has made their pit stops, most likely.
And Calm is now on the back of this battle as well. So Calm is in for a good result if he can keep the pace going. Just needs to avoid any accidents if he can. And Calm has actually had some really good pace. I've been looking at his split times over the last couple of laps, and he's still improving.
He's going to make a move up the inside of Lesmo. It's going to be side by side with Lewis Craig, and he slides round the corner. They're still side by side on the exit. They've made contact, and they're both off. They're both off, and they're both out. Oh dear. Cam, Lewis Craig, both out the race. Safety car has been deployed, so everyone will be filtering into the pit lane if they haven't already. And this could be an advantage for Johners because he's made his pit stop already.
It's going to help his teammate as well. He's going to be able to serve that penalty and not lose any time. He might lose a couple of track position places, but at Monza, that is definitely something you can improve on, his track position with overtakes. We've seen how easy it is to pass guys into turn number 1, and the pit lane is going to be very busy on this lap.
Yeah, it is. Everyone's going to be filtering into the pit lane. I'm going to ride on board with Machine Island because he's going to have that 5-second penalty. I'm just curious to see where he filters out compared to everyone else with this 5-second penalty. So the team are serving it now. Softy and Dan the Man will definitely be in front of him. Is how many more positions will he lose? He goes on to another set of hards. That can't be right. Oh, he started on medium, so it must have been a game glitch. Anyway, he's been passed by Matt Tibos, so that hasn't worked out overly badly for him. He's come out in between Matt Tibos. He's in that's mighty scrap. That was the battle for P5 before the stops. And Johners has jumped up into P3.
Yeah, that's worked out very well for Johners. The soft tyre at the beginning of the Grand Prix helping him out, and Dan the Man is going to be asking a lot of his soft tyres to go the distance. So this could be a P2, maybe even challenge Softy. Be a difficult task to do, obviously Softy on fresh mediums, but Johners looking in a great position. Matt Tibos as well on those medium tyres, in a great position for a podium and maybe a chance at the win.
Yeah, he is indeed. So after the pit stops, the running order is Softy leading the race. He's on mediums. Dan the Man pitted under that safety car as well. He's going to be on brand new softs, so he'll be looking racy on the restart. Johners pitted a couple of laps before that safety car. He's on hard tyres and currently sitting P3. They've got Matt Tibos on brand new mediums in 4th and Machine Island in 5th on hards. Casper is also on softs, and further down the field we've got Chris Johnson and Kai on soft tyres. But it's a nice variety of tyre options, nice variety of strategies going on this race. So it'll be very interesting to see how it works out with looking at it, there's 4 different strategies going on in the top 5 at the moment.
Nice to see. The 50% race is kind of spiced up a wee bit with strategy. The safety car adding to that. Obviously that's a nightmare for Lewis Craig, who had a great Grand Prix. Calm had a terrible start, but looked like he was beginning to get a great Grand Prix with some great overtakes, but that there was just too close for comfort between the Williams and the Haas, causing the safety car, and well, they have to regroup and refocus going into the Austrian Grand Prix later on. But it's all about the final laps of the Italian Grand Prix. Can Dan the Man challenge Softy on the restart?
Yeah, that is going to be an important question indeed. As we see, there's going to be at least another lap of a safety car. So the drivers are just going to be there around following this safety car, seeing what happens in this race. So be interesting to see what happens in this race under the safety car.
Softy, a few times this season, has gone early. You'd obviously wonder what his strategy is here. It's going to be one of the more dangerous places to be the leader of the restart pack, but it's kind of one of those no DRS, maybe catch Dan the man off guard, go early, go quick, get a big gap before the pit straight begins to really pick up the top end pace of the cars. But it's going to be one that Softy has to get right, because he's going to be under pressure if he gets it wrong, and could be under serious pressure of losing not just first and second, but even that podium, because everyone's going to be so close if he doesn't get the restart right.
Yeah, they are indeed. It'll be interesting to see whether the safety car comes in this time. It'll be about 13 laps of racing once the drivers get underway. If it comes in this time, we'll find out shortly. Just crossing the second split line, and yes, I think it's coming in. Yes, it is this time. It did flash up quickly and then disappeared. So Softy is the control car on the restart. He's waiting for that safety car to bugger off down towards the pit lane, and he'll be holding the field back, trying to get a jump on the drivers, especially the guys of Dan the Man on those soft tyres, and Johners, who's gained a couple of positions thanks to penalties and jumping people by pitting earlier. So get ready to go. 13 laps to go here in Monza.
Softy leaving it very late to go, you'd imagine, as he seems to have gone now. Has he caught Dan the Man off guard?
No, he hasn't. Dan the Man gets a great run through Parabolica with Wreck Racing again. They're going to be side by side on the run down to the Retrophilia chicane. They're going to be nose to tail. Dan the Man slips back into the slipstream. He's got those soft tyres. He's looking to the outside of Softy. He's going to try and outbrake Softy round the outside. He pinches him on the curb, gets the move done. He's into the lead, and Matt Timos has gone tumbling down the field. He's made a mistake at the first chicane, and Machine Island's for the second time in this race straight lined the first chicane and picked up a time penalty. He's dropped down into fourth, but Dan the Man takes the lead on the restart.
Great from Dan the Man, he timed it perfectly. The softs were up to temperature. Machine Ireland kind of had to avoid Matt Tibbles, who was tumbling down the order, otherwise he's going to go right into the back of him. So maybe that one will be looked at, and he might be able to get some reprieve on that, but he's picked up a 5-second time penalty after that, so it's going from bad to worse from him. But he's now being passed by Casper in the Alpine, who's looked
I think that was him
on the softs.
I think that was him letting Casper pass potentially for that penalty. So he's going to probably argue that one in the steward's room. But we see Softy still close to the back of Dan the Man. Lorraine on ITV is not having a great race, to be honest, at the back of the field. Go back to presenting daytime television, love, as you're down in 15th and picking up time penalties. As we see Softy with the DRS potentially, and he's going to use some overtake. He's getting closer and closer to the back of Dan the Man. Dan the Man, a bit of a sitting duck. They're going to be side by side down towards the Retofilio chicane. And that's the move done. Softy back into the lead. But will Dan the Man be able to keep up with him? He's got those soft tyres, and that is his game plan from now. And Johners is still lurking in the background. So let's see what we can see in this race. Dan the Man is going to try and stick onto the back of Softy, but is Softy going to run away on those medium tyres, Jack?
He shouldn't do at this phase. Dan the Man should be able to hold on to him for at least a couple of laps. And Jack Kickey, after a spin, he managed to get a double overtake into turn one, back up into P4, so his race is not completely ruined. It's Phil and Court Gill fighting for 6th place, and Phil manages to pull out of that. Unlike Cam did, it caused the safety car. Casper now right on the back of Jack Kickey for P4. 12 points at stake between the Alpine and the McLaren, and there's going to be no love loss given, and Casper should round the outside. A lovely move from the Alpine. A couple of time race winner Dan the Man has now slipped out of that DRS, so Softy should be able to manage that gap now, as Johners is managing to hold on for now. He just needs to hang on until Dan the Man's tyres fall off a cliff towards the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, that would be the thing indeed. Softy setting the fastest lap of the race. but that was soft versus hard tyres, Jack Hickey and Casper, and it really showed there. Court has jumped up the field. He's up into P6 now on those medium tyres, and he'll be looking to make a move on the back of Jack Hickey. Then we've got Phil Bardwell. As we see, Machine Island has retired from the race, and he's brought out a safety car. Looks like he's made something's happened at the exit of Ascari with Machine Island. He's brought out a safety car, and it's another safety car in this Grand Prix for the drivers to contend with.
Yep, he lost it on the exit, took too much curb, and when you take too much curb on the exit of Ascari, you've got no control on the front of your car, and you just pile into the metal barrier on the left side of the track. He had no downforce in the car after hitting on the curb, and that's just cost him. It looked like it was going to be a good race. He seemed to be okay after getting rid of that time penalty, but then the restart with a couple of mistakes, and it seemed to pile down the order. So not a great night for the man that's currently in P2 in the Drivers' Championship. I think he's going to drop after Casper finishes this race. And will we see anyone risk it and pick up some softs for the last couple of laps? I think it'll be about 7-8 laps when we get going again, as the field might split if they box, but if they don't, I think we'll get underway quite quickly.
Well, it looks like it's clouding over as well, so a bit as well. So is there potential of rain in this Grand Prix? That is also a factor the drivers may have to think about as well. Is anyone boxing? Softy doesn't come in. Dan the Man doesn't come in. Jodders doesn't come in. So all the top three have stayed out. I think no one's going to risk pitting under this unless you guys at the back like Matt Tibos, Wet Lemons, Lorraine on ITV. There'll all be drivers that'll be thinking about pitting for soft tyres, and Matt Tibos, Wet Lemons and Lorraine on ITV, the three I mentioned, all deciding to pit for new tyres.
I think Matt Tibos may have had some damage from that lap previous. The front wing's getting changed in that Haas. Obviously the restart, he had some drama. But the guys at the back, they might as well go on some softs. They're not going to lose out on any positions really, except Matt Tibos, who's obviously dropped down, but he should be able to get back ahead of those guys. But the likes of Casper, Jack Hickey, Phil as well, Alistair Payne, even Dom Smith and Chris, they're scoring good points, so it's not worth the risk. At the moment, especially on the restart, there was a bit of a few accidents, so not worth the risk of losing track position. But the longer this race goes on with the safety cars, obviously it helps Casper and the Alpine's fuel. We mentioned earlier he was running some lower fuel, but the longer this race goes on, the more chance of that rain might play a factor on the final couple of laps.
Yes, be definitely more chance of the rain playing a factor in this Grand Prix. As we see, the order is pretty much as it is. Softy leading from Dan the Man. Then we've got Jonas in third, Casper in fourth, and Jack Hickey in fifth. Casper on those soft tyres will be hoping to maybe jump Jonas quite quickly on this restart, and he could join that lead battle with the soft tyre advantage, the grip advantage, especially with Jonas being on those hard tyres, Jack.
Yeah, that is the main goal for the Alpine crew and Casper. He needs to get past Johners and get on the back of Dan the Man. Obviously, Dan the Man, he managed to absolutely read Softy like a book off the previous restart. Softy, he'll need to adjust and adapt and see if he can get the better of Dan this time around. But Dan the Man will be absolutely excited for this to happen again. He knows Casper's coming in P4 on the softs. He'll be hoping that Johners can try and hold on to P3 for at least the first sector. But I think Casper might be putting Softy under a bit of pressure come the end of this Grand Prix if he can hang on to his soft tyres.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see indeed. So, got another lap of this safety car for the drivers to follow around, and then we should get going again with about 7-8 laps of racing for the drivers to contend with here at Monza. But it's been a scintillating race so far. It's been action everywhere you looked, and we've had 2 safety cars to top it off as well.
Been a great Grand Prix. The accident that brought out the first safety car was rather unfortunate. 2 guys having a good race, but that just happens in racing sometimes. We're now going to get a run to the line basically for the last few laps. Everyone nice and tight. The strategies, as you said earlier, all varying, especially in the top 5. Not many people running the same strategy. It's nice to see everyone's going to have some good fuel. Everyone's going to have that full battery at the beginning, and it's all about Dan the Man. Can he do what he did on the previous restart and jump obviously the newly crowned champion? He didn't win the championship last year, Softy. He got it wrapped up early this season, and he's just wanting to add to that race victory tally that he's got so far. Dan the Man looking to spoil that party for the soft cup.
Yeah, as the safety car is in this lap now. So once again, we're back where we were about 4 or 5 laps ago. Softy, the control car. Dan the Man in second. John is in third. Casper in fourth. Jack Hickey in fifth for this race restart. So when is Softy going to bolt this time round? I think he might do it after Parabolica this time round, because with the grip advantage of Dan the Man, that's how he jumped him in the first place. So he'll be looking to do it maybe on the exit of Parabolica, wait as long as possible. He can wait until the start-finish line before bolting Softy, so he has got a bit of time. It's his decision as the control car to decide when to go. So he definitely hasn't gone before Parabolica this time round. He'll be hoping to try and catch Dan the Man out, and he's done it on the exit of Parabolica. I don't think that's really caught Dan the Man out even, to be honest, but it's probably done him just enough to stay in front as they head across the line. And I don't think it has, actually, as we see Dan the Man in the slipstream looking to the outside once again in the Retifilia chicane, but this time round Softy hangs on to the position. Bit of scrapping further back. Kai is back up, has put himself up into 6th position, taking Kurt and Phil Bardrow on that restart. So a very strong restart for him, but Dan the Man still settling behind. Casper on those soft tyres looking for a move. Wet Lemons has made a mistake and unfortunately has dropped down the field as we see Casper all over the back of the Red Bull. This is for the final podium spot. He's got that grip advantage. Let's see what he can do, Jack.
It was a great restart for the two harder compound tyres, Softy and Johners. They held on to their positions, but Johners might not be able to hang on for much longer. Casper has got so much pace through Sector 2. Now with no DRS, it's pure battery and engine power in the back of the Alpine. He moves to the left, down the inside of Ascari. He will go. Can't Johners hold it round the outside?
Yes, he can.
Absolutely he can. But Casper's going to be pushing him onto the back straight. No DRS here, even in normal conditions, but he's got to watch out for Jack Hickey behind and Speed Kai, who's had a great restart. Jack Hickey sniffing his front wing in, letting Casper know he's there. And as we get back round to start lap number 21, can Casper get onto that final step of the podium? He should be able to before the start-finish straight even begins. He's side by side, and Johnner's top speed is just managing to hang on.
They're very much nose to tail, snipping in. I think Johners just has a straight line advantage over Casper as he's been hit by Jack Hickey there. Kai's been hit as well. There's 3 wide, and Kai, despite getting a little tangle with someone going through the first chicane, he managed to overtake Jack Hickey and gets himself a position, but it's looking for Jack Hickey. Can he make a move in towards the chicane? They've got this beautiful view as they run into the chicane. He hangs on for the time being. Meanwhile, further back, Jack Hickey is having to fend off from court as they go into the Lesmos. Once again, there's going to be about 6 laps to go in this race next time they come across the line. But Casper is going to try and possibly make a move at Johners, but he has dropped back slightly on this lap.
Yeah, he was compromised after being hit in the rear wing of the McLaren on the previous at turn 1. He won't be too happy about that, but he needs to put the head down and refocus. He's only 5 tenths back on the Red Bull, on the quicker tyre. He needs to get the move down before those softs start to fall away. Car number 72, the Finnish driver. Can he get past Jack Hickey this time around? Can he get past Johners this time around? DRS will be enabled on this lap, so he won't get it on the start-finish straight. I don't believe this time. It's going to be straight Alpine Renault power and the battery. He's not got much battery, but Johners has got even less. He's not using it, just biding his time, getting closer and closer with the slipstream as Jack Hickey now back past Kai, but Kai's going to be later on the brakes. The Williams driver goes deep into the corner, pushes the McLaren wide and holds on to P5. Court Gill behind as well, wanting a bit of the action, and Phil doing a good job in it. Can he get himself involved in this battle?
Meanwhile, Casper has got closer to the back of Johners again. He's about 3 tenths the gap now as they enter the Retifilia, the Variante de Rogia. For this time round, got my chicanes mixed up here at Monza as they enter the Lesmos though. Less than 2 tenths behind. Surely he'll be looking for a move down towards the Ascari chicane, but that straight line speed of Johners might be just enough. Casper needs a good exit. He's going to have the DRS open. He's going to have the overtake on, and he's going to try and move round the outside of the Ascari chicane, and he's going to be clear. Yes, he is. He's clear before they get to the chicane. That is the move done. Wet Lemons, unfortunately, is retired from this race, and we have another safety car. He's made a mistake on the exit at Lesmo. That's a safety car, and we're going to have probably a 4 lap shootout at the end of this race, Jack.
Yeah, another safety car, a mistake from the McLaren driver. It was a nice move from Casper. Jack Hickey made a nice move on Speed Car as well, at the end of sector 1 in the late braking zone. There was a nice move from the McLaren, finally getting past the Williams, obviously on the hard tyres. Pretty good pace as Casper now into the pits after making that move on Johners. I'm not too sure how much of a decision that is going to be come the end of the race. Obviously he'll be very quick, but he's on inters. Is it wet? Is it raining? Casper's on inters.
I don't see any rain falling on any cars. Casper's made a stop, about half the field have made a stop. But
everyone's on inters.
Everyone's pitted on inters. I'm not sure on that one because it's not raining.
Is the rain going to cut?
They must think the rain is coming fairly soonish. They must have had their weather report saying rain is coming. But all the drivers at the front, the top, 7 have decided to stay out on their dry tyres. Everyone behind's pitted for their inter tyres. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens indeed.
Well, we were confused why the safety car came out last week, and now I'm confused why everyone's going on to the inters this week. The rain must be coming soon here at Monza, and the track looks like it's getting a bit lighter than previous laps, but is it going to rain come the end of this race? And if it is, this race might be absolutely spiced up because the top 7 will all have to pit. And Matt Tibos in 12 went on to softs.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting to see indeed. So the top 7 all stayed out, and then 8th down to 13th are all out on inter tyres. No raining's falling currently. I'm riding on board with Dan the Man, and yes, there's the potential of rain, but is it going to come before the end, and how heavy is it going to come as well? That'll be an interesting proposition in itself. So we'll see what happens here in TGB1. We're going to have 3 laps to go at the end of this once the safety car comes in.
Yeah, 3 laps to go of racing, 1 lap of DRS provided there's no rain. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be a 3-lap shootout to decide the Italian Grand Prix, round 17 of the TGB1 season 41 season. So let's see what we have in store. Softy is your leader. Dan the Man is in second. Johners is in third. Jack Hickey in fourth. Phil Bardrell is up in fifth. Dom is in sixth. Chris Johnson is seventh. They are the runners still on the dry tyres. Then we've got Casper in eighth. Kai in ninth. Alistair in 10th. Lorraine in 11th. 12th is Matt Tibos and 13th. And last of the runners at the moment is called DNFers for Wet Lemons, Machine Island, Cam, Lewis Craig and Wade all out of this Grand Prix here at Monza. I presume we'll be going back racing this time around here in Monza, so it'll be very interesting to see indeed. So yeah, is that safety car in? No, it isn't. We're going to have another lap under safety car, so make that from a 3-lap shootout into a 2-lap shootout here in Monza. Oh no, it was a very late call, sorry. Very late call, safety car in this lap. It was just later than normal. All the guys at the back of the field be hoping for the wet weather to come, Jack.
Yeah, this has not been a great call from those guys. At this point, they need the rain to come basically now. They need it more than ever to come now.
And they need it to monsoon as well when it happens.
They need it
Softy
to be
is bolted at the front.
2008.
Softy is bolted at the front. In the green flag racing, we've got 3 laps to go in the Italian Grand Prix. Again, he's getting a poor run. And once again, that traction of those soft tyres, I think those soft tyres are starting to fade, so it's not providing the same grip. Meanwhile, Johners is actually looking for a move on Dan the Man. Can he get the move done? No, he can't. He's slotted in behind the top 3 as they go through the chicane. Then it's 7th. Then it's Phil in 6th. Dom Smith in 6th. And Chris Johnson in 7th. And then we're on to the intermediate runners behind that. And it has started raining. It has started raining now. Is it going to get wet enough for the guys on the inters to benefit? Or is it going to stay just at that point where it's going to be greasy? Let's see how much rain falls here. We've got 3 laps to go here at the Italian Grand Prix. And it looks like it's raining fairly hard, Jack.
Yeah, Casper's catching Chris Johnson and Dom Smith at a rate of knots. Dom Smith and Chris looked like they were getting a great result and some good points on Lewis Craig, who DNF'd earlier, but now they could be in some danger of the Inters behind. Softy's managed to get that second gap that he needed, but now it's all about Casper. Can he get up to those guys behind him? No, he's struggling. He's getting caught by Matt Tibbles, who's on the slick tyres. He's on the opposite soft tyres, but he's not quite got the straight line speed out of Ascari. And look at the gap now. Casper's catching him so quickly. The gap's down to 5 tenths.
It'll be very interesting to see. We're riding on board with Casper now, the Alpine. Softy has gone at the front. He's got a 2.5 lead. Meanwhile, Chris Johnson looking for a move on Dom Smith. But is those inter tyres the right call? We've got 2 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Dom Smith and Chris Johnson scrapping. Meanwhile, Matt Tibos actually makes the move on Casper. Casper loses a position, but Chris Johnson's round. That's a position gone. And I think those slick tyres have still got enough life in them and enough grip in them. If they're warm, they're still going to be decent in these conditions. It's only when the spray starts getting kicked up by the drivers, and I don't see any spray being kicked up yet.
They've got a couple of laps, maybe a couple of corners, maybe.
Meanwhile,
before.
Jack Hickey down on the inside of Lesmo. No, not quite. He thinks better of it. There's still battles going on further up the field. Jack Hickey and Johners battling for the final podium spots.
Jack Hickey, can he get on to that podium? He had a good race until his mistaken spin at turn number 1, but can he get past Johners, who's also had a great race? It'd be disappointing for Johners to not be on the podium. He's deserved it for so long this season. Matt Tibos now on Dom Smith. Round the outside of Ascari he goes and picks up P6. Dom now going to tumble down the order. His mediums, 13 laps old. Don't seem to be working.
There's puddles forming. There's large drivers are starting the final lap. I don't think it's going to be quite wet enough for those inters to work, though, unfortunately. So it's a bit of a bad call from the guys there. Kai is up into 7th, though. DRS is enabled this time, and the spray is being kicked up. This will be very interesting to watch Casper, see if he can make any headway in the field. It's the final lap of the race. Jack Hickey looking for a mood, potentially on the wrong tyres. John is just about sticking in front. He's going to be driving like on ice by the end of this lap, the way it's coming down at the moment. This is going to be a very interesting end to this race. Casper's starting to gain some time on the guys in front. You can see the spray being kicked up by the drivers, Jack.
Absolutely, the guys ahead have just got to hold on. It's like driving with ice cubes for tyres. If they can, Matt Tibbles has a bit of a gap to the first inter runner of Casper behind. He needs to hang on. He's only got half a lap to go to hang on to P6. Phil Bardwell in the Ferrari doing the Tifosi proud in P5. Can he hang on to 10 valuable points in the
here we go, man. Here comes Casper. He's starting to make some positions up. It's the straight line run. DRS is disabled as well, so that's an interesting one. He's going to have a break on the outside of Matt Timos. He's going to have the advantage on the brakes. He's stuck behind Phil Bardwell going through Ascari now. Softy is going to win this race. It's just how many positions Casper can make up on those intermediate tyres. He gets Phil Bardwell. He's up into P5. Can he get further up the field as well? Jonas is just in front, and meanwhile Phil Bardwell has got him back on the straight line. They're side by side going through Parabolica. They've made contact, and he's round. Softy wins the race, but there's carnage behind. Dan the Man gets second. Jack Hickey is in third. Jonas is in fourth. Kai ends up in fifth. Phil Bardwell caught in seventh. Alistair in eighth. Dom Smith in ninth. Lorraine gets a top 10. Casper ends up coming home 11th. When it all could have gone so right for him, it ended up going so wrong for him. He's ended up down in P11. He played the master stroke, pitting for Inters on that final lap. He would have got himself probably a podium if he didn't have that contact with Phil Bardwell, just for the traction out of Parabolica. He definitely didn't seem like he was struggling, but unfortunately for him, he has that tangle with Phil Bardwell, loses position, spins down the order, and that costs him big time. Meanwhile, Softy is your race winner. Dan the Man in second, and Jack Hickey rounds out the podium in third. What a crazy end to that race.
What a crazy end to that race. It was Jack Hickey managed to steal Johners' podium at the final Ascari of the race. Johners will be absolutely gutted with that, and if I was Matt Tibos, I would be fuming inside the cockpit of that Haas. He was an innocent bystander in that battle between Phil and Casper, and he got caught out, and it made him DNF from the Grand Prix. It looked like it was going to be a good points haul for Matt, but he'll be absolutely fuming about that. But Johners just missed out on that podium. He's deserved one all season, but it just won't fall his way.
No, it hasn't fallen his way indeed. Meanwhile, here are the final results, and it's Softy who wins the race in the Aston Martin. Dan the Man in second, and Jack Hickey rounds out the podium. Then we've got Johners in fourth, Kai in fifth, then Phil Bardrell in sixth, Court in seventh, Alistair in eighth, Dom Smith in ninth, Casper gets himself up into 10th thanks to Lorraine's penalty. She's down in 11th. Then we've got Chris Johnson in 12th, Matt Tibos in 13th, and then we have the DNFers further down with Wet Lemons being the last of the point scorers. So, that was a very interesting race. And we've got another one to come. That was only one race down tonight. We've still got a race at Austria to come, 25% and a one-shot qualifying. So, it'll be a shorter race distance. And we'll be hoping we'll get it done a bit quicker than that one, because that one took over an hour of qualifying in the race.
Well, a great Grand Prix it was, maybe stifled by safety cars, but action like TGP1 always has. It always provides a grandstand finish. And yeah, with 18 laps of the Austrian Grand Prix, I wouldn't expect anything different. We've had 17 amazing Grand Prix. Softy has won the majority of them, but he has been vulnerable in some races, and hopefully this time in Austria, someone will be able to challenge him. Dan the Man did what he could, but didn't quite have it towards the end, and Softy picked up another victory. But Austria is kind of like Monza, another one of those tracks where the tyre difference, time and tyre difference, isn't that much, and the guys struggle to pick up pace on each other around here. I think we could be in for another very close-knit qualifying here, especially with one shot.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see indeed. So, I think everyone needs a bit of a breather after that race, because that was entertaining to watch. Indeed. So, yeah, that was very entertaining. I'm lost for words after that race, to be honest.
Great driving from the guys as always. It was a great race, and just getting ready to go again. And may have seen an onboard of the crash that caused the first safety car. And if anyone wants to know what Gert Versteiner would be saying, it wouldn't be pretty, and it probably would get beeped on Netflix from the Haas garage. Obviously going to wait and see what the Williams team come out and say, but there's a Scotsman that's not very happy at the moment.
Yeah, there isn't indeed. Many bleeps. Gunter Steiner, if he was still at the team, he'd be kicking kittens, to be honest. That's how angry he would be.
I think there's going to be a few glass doors broken in the Haas motorhome tonight.
Definitely. So, we're getting ready to go. One-shot qualifying here at Austria, so it's going to be quickly done qualifying, and then be straight into an 18-lap race round the Red Bull Ring, this 2.6-mile circuit here in Austria. So, I will try and find someone to quickly for you to follow on a lap round this circuit.
Well, let's see who we can have a watch of. The last time we did one-shot quality, we watched Dan the Man. He almost got his 90th pole position. Softy at the time was still buying his 90th pole position for the record that Dan the Man had held for such a long time. And Casper managed to steal it away from Softy. Only lasted one race, though Softy did manage to get that 90th pole. So maybe we will put the pressure back on Casper in the Alpine. The man that had so many opportunities that looked like it was going to be a good finish, but then it just seemed to always fall away from him at Monza. Maybe we'll stick the pressure on the three-time TGP1 race winner, car number 72, Casper, if we can find him, because one-shot qualifying to find a driver is absolutely a nightmare.
So you want Casper for this one lap to talk us through? I will try and find him as best I can, as quickly as I can.
Let's put the pressure on him. He got pole in the last one shot. Austria. Not an easy track to invalidate if you can get through turn 1 cleanly and the final couple of corners. I think the pit stop rule line, is that going to be in effect, do we know, where you have to go completely into the line before you pit? Is that a rule
I
that's
presume
still
so.
surviving? Yeah. Let's see if we can find the Finnish driver. If we can, we'll see where he is on the track. Into turn 1 he will go. And it's looking good so far for the Finishman in the top 5. Can on the run up to turn number 3. Kind of turn number 2, but the FIA can't decide which is a turn and what's not. Late on the brakes goes Casper round the corner where Nico and Lewis Hamilton had that famous crash in 2016. He'll open up the DRS. Casper now down the hill again into turn number 4 and 5. Brake as late as you possibly can. Use the curb if you dare. It will unsettle the car, but if you get it right, you can pick up an extra few tenths of a second round the long swooping left-hander where the car just wants to spin, but you've got to fight it through the left-hander onto the right-hander using the curb. Don't invalidate it, and Casper keeps it on the island. It's a purple sector 2, kindly enough for P3. Round the final couple of corners Casper goes. He manages to keep it on the island for now, but it's only going to be P3 for the Finland, and Softy takes pole position for the second race in a row.
He does indeed, Casper, only getting himself P3 as we rode on board with him. But we'll give you a full rundown of the qualifying results now for the Austrian Grand Prix. A Softy championship winner gets pole by 1.5 tenths over Kai in second. Then we've got Casper in third. Lewis Craig, another great qualifying for him. He's up in P4. Alistair is in fifth. Then we've got Jack Hickey in sixth. Weck Lemons in seventh. Court in eighth. Dom Smith in ninth. And then we've got Matt Tibos in 10th. Lorraine in 11th. And they are the last of the lap time setters. Waze is 12th. Phil Bardrell 13th. Chris Johnson 14th. Cam in 15th. John is 16th. And then disqualifications for Dan the Man and Machine Island. I mean, they start on the last row of the grid here in Austria. So it'll be very interesting to see. A lot shorter race distance, half the distance that it was the previous Grand Prix here in Austria compared to a 50% distance race in Italy. But hopefully it's half as entertaining as that Italian Grand Prix was, Jack.
Hopefully it will be. If anything to go off, it's going to be a great Grand Prix. Austria always flings up some nice battles. Quite an easy track like Monza to overtake, and I think we have to have a wee look at Dom Smith's PS5 because the Ferrari in P9, not too sure what's happened there.
Meanwhile, I just will give a Champions League update as Real Madrid have taken the lead and it is 1-0 Real Madrid.
The magic of the Champions League helping them again.
So get ready. Drivers are making their final preparations. I wonder how many of them will be happy or disappointed at the news that Real Madrid have taken the lead against Bayern Munich. As we see Vinicius Jr. slot it home as the lights come on here in Austria. 4, 5 lights. Lights are on here and they're out. And it's decent start. Someone's not moved at the back. It looks like Waze has just not moved at the back of the field. Softy looks like he's going to lead into turn 1 and swoops around the outside of Kai. Maintains the lead. Kai is second. Then we've got Casper in third as we see them all running down. Very spicy in the mid-pack, but Softy looks like he's going to be in the lead, but Kai's going to dive down the inside, get the move done, and he's up into the lead of the race. Softy losing the lead. Bit of argy-bargy for third and fourth between Casper and Lewis Craig, but Casper holds on to the position for the time being and actually loses out to Alistair Bain as well. Alistair going to be side by side with the Haas into turn number 4, and he gets the move done, and that's him up into turn 4, but they're still going to be side by side, and Lewis Craig actually gets the move back, heading towards turn 6 here at the Red Bull Ring. So that is the opening lap underway, and it looks like Lewis Craig had a scrappy start, but he's managed to maintain his position. Alistair is in 5th. Meanwhile, he's got Jack Hickey all over the back of him. I said there was Dyson in the midfield, and they've definitely proved it so far, Jack.
Everyone trying to battle and settle their way into this Grand Prix. Lewis Craig with some great overtaking move after Alistair pulled off a great overtake as well. Cam was trying to force his way through the field on lap number 1. I was watching him battle his way through the Ferraris, and Dan the Man and Co and he's done well to get into the top 10. Wet Lemons, who started on the softs, the only driver not on the medium comedy tires. Jack Hickey's now actually passed Alistair Bain before the braking zone, and Alistair's actually been passed by Court Gill as well, so Alistair looks to have had a compromised run through the start of lap 2. He's going to try battle Matt Tibbles. Matt Tibbles is going to be down the inside though, so it should be an easy pass for Matt if he can be later on the brakes. He is. Can he force the AlphaTauri wide? Not going to be able to push him off into the gravel like Hamilton to Albon, but he's done enough to hold on to P7, so a bad couple of corners for Alistair at the beginning of lap 2.
Yeah, meanwhile Casper all over the back of Softcop. This is the battle for second and third on the road at the moment. 3/10 is the gap. Kai just about in the lead. DRS will be enabled after the next time the drivers cross the start finish line, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So Kai crosses the line now, starts lap number 3. So Lewis Craig has actually set the fastest lap of the race, so he's got very good pace here around Austria, as the top 4 have started to break away from everyone else. It's the second and a half back to 5th place Jack Hickey.
Yeah, Lewis Craig though, he's got to hold on to his battery if he has any plans on battling these guys for the final couple of podiums. As Softy has a look down the inside, but doesn't make a move, as New Zealand Cam now does pass the AlphaTauri of Alistair Bain. But Lewis, a great start from him, holding on to these guys at the front, as Casper now looking to make a move on Softy. Just biding his time is the Alpine driver. But yeah, Court Gill as well, he's quite close to Jack Hickey. They've kind of fallen off, they're not as quick as the top 4. But yeah, a great start from Lewis Craig, and he'll be absolutely loving life in the podium battle. Can he hang on in the next couple of laps? It's going to make or break his race at the end.
Meanwhile, Matt Tibos has dropped right to the back of the field there. I think there's some sort of incident further back, and he's made another mistake, and he's just dropping further and further down the field, unfortunately for him. So he's lost touch. Meanwhile, his teammate is right in that battle for the lead group.
Yep, but it's all about Softy on the back of Speed Kai. That's for the lead of the Grand Prix. That is for bragging rights. Kai did a good job of getting into the lead, but he's only going to hold it on for a matter of time, as Lewis Craig is actually onto the podium. And now comes Softy for the lead of the Grand Prix. Kai got nothing to defend with, and we've got a double change at the front. Softy leads from Kai, and Lewis Craig on the podium now. Can he hang on to Casper behind? Casper's not had a great run out of that corner, and Lewis looks to have got that move done, but Kai now round the outside of turn number 4 retakes the lead. What a move that is from the Williams driver.
Yeah, Casper made a mistake at turn 1, but Kai retaking the lead after being overtaken into turn 3, gets the move back at turn 4, back into the lead of the race he goes. There's 3 DRS zones on this circuit: the run into turn 1, the run into turn 3, and the run into turn 4. So it's playing pivotal for these guys in this race, as we see Softy all over the back of Kai now. We're going to ride on board with the Aston Martin as he gets the first of these DRS opportunities. There it is, massive DRS side. Lewis Craig picked up a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately for him. Is Softy going to get the move done? No, not quite into turn 1. You have to be so tactical about it around this circuit, don't you, Jack?
It's a very difficult circuit. It's kind of like Brazil. You make the move on one straight and you're very vulnerable on the following, just like Jack Hickey is feeling right now. Court Gill in the Alfa Romeo sails past and up into P5. What a move that was from Court Gill. But yeah, it's one of those tracks where you can make the move at turn 1 if you're brave, but you're very vulnerable coming up the hill and then down the hill again. But Softy now not worried about that. He's just looking to try and keep tabs with Kai and make that move. Casper as well. Those guys are managing to hang on to Softy and Kai in the final couple of podium places. And Court, can he get his sights set on Casper ahead?
Yeah, that is the question indeed. Meanwhile, Lewis Craig just about in this battle as well, and Casper right on the back of Lewis Craig. He lost the position initially after making a mistake at turn 1, and that's how Lewis Craig got past, so we wanted to get that position back fairly quickly, Casper. As we see, we're on to lap number 6 already, a very quick track here in Austria, only just over a minute lap time, and it's proving it as we're getting ready to go lap 6. We're already a third of the way through this race, Jack.
Yeah, and Court Gill sets the fastest lap of the race. He's managing
move
to
for the lead. Sorry to
gap.
interrupt you. Softy has taken the lead back again from Kai. Gets the move done into turn 3. Is he going to be able to have the traction, or is Kai going to be able to make the move back into turn 4? I don't think he's actually going to be quite close enough, but he's going to choose the DRS. He's going to use the overtake. He's going to look to the outside of Softy round turn 4. and he can't quite make the move, but he's going to try and go on the switchback. They're going to be side by side on the run down towards turn 6. Oh, they're going to be able to get the move. That's a bit hard to do, unfortunately, for Kai. But he's going to try and maybe slick it up the inside at turn 7. No, thinks better of it. But he is all over the back of the Aston Martin driver. And these two are going to continue swapping positions. They're on the run down to turn 9. Is he going to be able to move into turn 9? No, thinks better of it. And he's going to follow him in towards the end of the lap. And another run of 3 DRS straights.
So, can he get the move done? He made the move on Softy on the previous lap. Down the inside he goes into turn 1. Softy not fighting it, as he knows he's got 2 helpings of DRS, but he's got to watch out for the Haas behind, because even with a time penalty, Lewis is going to want a bit of the action. But Softy only looking ahead.
Neither of them have got DRS into turn 3. Is Lewis Craig going to make a move? No, thinks better of it and doesn't quite make the move there. But neither of the two guys in front had the DRS there.
Maybe crossed the detection line at the same time. Quite a weird coincidence there. But yeah, Softy got past around the outside of turn 4 on the previous lap. You're not going to do that twice to a man of his stature. He managed to defend the position, but still finds himself behind Kai, not being able to make the move. And Lewis Craig frustrating Casper maybe on that final battle for the podium. Casper not being able to get back past Lewis yet. You'd imagine he should be able to get the move done sooner rather than later, but not quite as easy as Casper would have hoped for.
No, it isn't indeed. I think the DRS, just being in the DRS of Softy and Speed Kai in front of him, is helping him out maintain position over Casper. Casper is very racy behind, as we see the first of the stoppers Cam into the pit lane. But yeah, he's very racy behind in that Alpine, but just got nowhere to go. Meanwhile, the lead two swapping positions again. Softy back into the lead of the race. Kai back down to second, but how long will this last for, Jack?
Won't be too long, providing Kai can hang on. But he had a bad exit at turn number 1, kind of like what Casper did when Lewis passed him, and he had no chance of defending from Softy. And Softy now managing to hold on this time, coming down the hill into the second sector. And he's managed to hold on to P1 there. Everyone on the mediums, as Machine Ireland's actually passed Dan the man for P8. Machine Ireland must have DNF'd in qualifying, as he's down the order than you'd expect him to. But yeah, Kai back behind Softy now. You'd imagine these guys are going to keep battling until at least the pit stop phases. Everyone bar Wet Lemon started on the
speak of the pit stop phase. Kai is looking like he's into the pit lane. Yes, he is. Kai is going to try and go for the undercut on Softy. So this lap will be very important. As you see, the gap has now split up a bit because Kai has made that pit stop. It's now over a second. Lewis Craig's not going to have the DRS, but Casper's not going to be quite close enough either.
Casper's had a bad run. He's gone very deep into turn number 1, so he's going to get close to Lewis up the hill, but not close enough to make a move. But it could put him in a good position when we come back downhill. Lewis Craig falling away from Softy a lot later than we would expect in this race. He's managed to do very well, but he's only got to watch in his rear mirrors at the moment. Casper now closing in on the Haas ahead. Car number 34 doing everything he can to defend it, and he manages to hold on for now. Lewis got the pace to frustrate the 3-time race winner Casper, who's not going to be enjoying this Grand Prix so far.
No, he isn't indeed. Down in third, net 4th position. Kai making that pit stop. I think he does have the pace on Lewis Craig, but that straight line speed of the Haas, and he gets a massive wobble through turn 8, Lewis Craig, and I think he's going to dive into the pit lane. I think they all are. I think all 3 of this group are into the pit lane this time around. Yes, it is. They're all in the pit lane, so we're going to ride on board with Kai and see where they all come out compared to each other. Is Kai's 1 lap difference on those soft tyres going to be enough to jump him into the lead of this race and have a little bit of a gap over Softy? We will soon see. He enters turn 9, he enters turn 10. The leaders, I think, are just leaving their pit box now, so it's going to be very tight on the exit. We're riding on board of the Williams driver as lap number 10. I can see a car just sneaking out the pit lane. I think that's Softy. They're going to be very close on the exit, and I think Kai's just going to have him. Yes, he is. But Softy is still going to be close enough to make a move. Meanwhile, Lewis Craig is just out in front of Cam, and Cam is actually jumping Lewis Craig. But Kai done just enough to jump Softy there, and is he going to be able to get some distance, or is he, Softy, going to keep with him?
He's going to have to try and keep the pressure on Softy, but Lewis Craig looking down the inside of the Williams ahead. Cam obviously did the earlier pit stop, the Williams doing the undercut on their challengers, and well, the front 3 after Kai box, they had to pit because they couldn't risk losing out on even more time to Kai. But now Lewis Craig, he's going to have DRS on Cam, and this could frustrate Casper even more, because Lewis did manage to fall away from Softy, but still there's a DRS buffer ahead, and it could be getting from bad to worse for Casper. Obviously, Lewis does have that time penalty, but Casper is thinking about the guys ahead of Lewis.
Yeah, it could be very interesting indeed. Meanwhile, further up the field, half a second is the gap between the two leaders. DRS this time round for Softy. He's going to be looking to pull in that gap and make a move. Meanwhile, Lewis Craig all over the back of Cam. The light was flashing on the back of Cam's car as well, so he was running low on hers. Is Casper going to try and move as well? No, not quite. But Lewis Craig gets up a position. He's back into net P3. Cam going to have DRS, but he's not going to have the ERS. Meanwhile, Casper behind. Going to have the ERS. Going to have the DRS. He's going to try and look to the outside of turn number 4. Try and hang it around the outside. Kai's going to push him wide, and they have pushed each other wide. A bit of argy-bargy on the exit, but Casper has got the move done, and he's up into P5 on the road and net P4. As we see the leaders still line astern, Kai and Softy.
Still, Lannister and Cam did everything he could in his power to hold on to that P5, but he just didn't have anything to give. And I tell you what, Lewis Craig is going to be a feel-good factor. Cam, obviously a TGP1 champion on this game as well. It would have felt very nice for him as he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix to pass Cam. Now he's just got to try and hold on to his fastest lap and that final step on the podium, even with the time penalty. But now Softy all over the back of Kai. Up the hill they go, down the inside. The Aston Martin's going to go before the braking zone. Into P1 goes Softy. Now, can he hang on? Kai back into the slipstream of the Aston ahead. He'll open up the DRS. He'll use a bit to the battery. Not too much of it. Hangs on down the inside he goes. Softy knows better than to defend it because it's just a losing battle. And Kai retakes the lead. So these guys are going to be battling to the end unless there's a mistake. And Lewis Craig managing to hold on to P3 still for now. And it's looking like it's going to be a good result even with that penalty.
Yeah, it's going to be a great result for him. I'd ask you this question as his brother. Would this be his first podium in TGP1 if he got it?
Yeah, this would be his first season in TGP1. This would be a great result. It would be his highest finish. I think he's had a couple of 6th and a 7th place. So anything in the top 5 would be great. But he'll be dying for that podium. He'll be so happy to overtake the guys like Casper and Cam. Obviously, so much respect for those guys. But look at Softy looking for the move. But yeah, obviously, not being as quick as these guys around. Naturally, it's obviously going to feel good to get past these guys. But he's got to hold on because he's losing touch to Casper. But Softy now is going to take the lead. Is he?
No,
he
was tactical about it. I could see he was lifted off. He's being very tactical about it. He knows turn 4 is the last of the 3 DRS straights. So he has to get a run through there. He's going to have the DRS open. He's going to have the overtake. Kai very much pushes him to the inside there. But Softy gets the move done. And that is him into the lead. And they're still side by side. Going around 5 in towards 6. Kai not going to be able to hang it around the outside. No, he isn't. Lewis Craig still hanging on in front of Casper. But that is that. And Softy and Kai still battling away. And Lewis Craig is actually slowly inching towards the back of this battle again.
Yeah, he's hanging on. The battle ahead is actually allowing him to kind of get back into DRS. So Casper's night is going from even worse to even worse. And I tell you what, who wasn't tactical, that was Jack Hickey. He absolutely dive bombed Phil Barger. It was nice and clean, but he wasn't waiting around. He got back ahead into 7th. He's almost broken the DRS. But now it's all on Kai, who's got Lewis Craig for company, and Casper. How close are these guys going to be? Yeah. Kai is getting closer to Softy, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough into turn number 3.
I just forgot. Well, yeah, Jack Hickey and Phil Barger have got history at Austria, and also, so that didn't help. That's probably why he was so aggressive with the move, Jack Hickey. Meanwhile, I forgot about this. It's right there in front of me. Lewis Craig has got that 3-second time penalty. So if it stays as it is, he'll be probably dropping down to 5th. Still a very good result, but he could have had a podium if he didn't have that time penalty.
Early mistakes in the early laps, trying to hold on to these guys. And Lewis Craig might not have the pace around most tracks to challenge these titans at the front. But I tell you what, at Austria, he's definitely got it because he is hanging on to Softy and Kai and Casper. And these guys are no slouch at the wing.
Yeah, definitely no slouches. Looks like Court and Alistair have had an accident further back coming out of turn number 6. They've both DNF from this race, and they are both going to have no results from this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, we have 4 laps to go here at the Red Bull Ring. The top 4 back where they were, all line astern. It's the same top 4 that started the race altogether and shot away from the field. Kai basically reverse entry in his way into turn 3, doing it almost Tokyo Drift style. Just about hangs onto it, but that's ruined his run on Softy this time round, and he's not going to make a move, and Lewis Craig isn't close enough either. So the top 4 stay line astern after they finish all the DRS zones.
Absolutely, Softy in prime position to win another Grand Prix. He's got plenty of battery in the tank if he needs it. But the battles are going to be going on till the end of the race here between the top 4. Lewis may have that time penalty, but I tell you what, he's doing enough to hang on to at least 4th. He's going to be absolutely gutted if he cannot get that 3 seconds on Casper.
Yeah, he's not going to get it on Casper because he's not going to get it on Casper because Casper's hanging onto him like a string on a thing. I don't know where I was going with that. And meanwhile, Cam, he is going to drop back from Cam. It's 2.8 the gap currently, as Casper is actually going to have the DRS. They've both got DRS, and there's a flashing light on the back of Lewis Craig's car riding on board with Casper, so that may breathe him some sigh of relief as they head towards the DRS zone, down the 3rd DRS zone. They got a good launch out of that corner though, Lewis Craig, and I don't think it's going to be quite enough for Casper.
Yeah, he's got some good traction out of the braking zones, does Lewis Craig at the moment in the Haas. He needs to hang on to these guys ahead with the DRS because Casper, 2 warnings, so he is in the realm of possibly picking up a penalty. So Lewis Craig just needs to hang on if he can. He cannot afford to lose that 1 second to the cars ahead on this final battle of the podium. But Kai now, only 3 tenths behind Softy. We can still have a change for this lead of this race.
He could still indeed. We've got 2 laps to go here at the Red Bull Ring in a very spicy Austrian Grand Prix. Spicy as the bratwurst that's in this country, as we see themselves running through the first corner for the first time. Penultimate time in this race, as we see Kai looking, lifting off. Is he going to go for the move down the inside? Yes, he is. Gets the move on the inside of turn number 3. Back into the lead of the race. Casper has passed Lewis Craig behind. So that's double swap positions there. As we see if Softy can make a move on the run down towards turn number 4. No, he thinks better of it. 1 more lap to go in this race. Casper has got the position on Lewis Craig, but Lewis Craig is hanging on for the time being. He's got the gap for the penalty, so the penalty is no longer an issue for at least P4 in this race, but he would desperately like to finish at least P3 on the road for pride, but I think he's just dropping off the back of this group now.
And Casper, he isn't thinking about Lewis Craig, he's thinking about Softy. He's wanting P2 and a chance at the win as we come round the final couple of corners for the second last time. We're beginning the final lap, and I tell you what, out the top 3, I have no idea who's going to win the Austrian Grand Prix. We start the final lap. Kai leads, but at the end of this lap, he could be in 3rd. Softy now, round turn 1 he goes. He's so close. He's got so much battery. It should be a slam dunk for the Aston, at least up the hill. Coming down might be a different story, though.
Yeah, he's got the move done. Passed up the hill. That's the move done. He's got it wide, though. He's wide in 3. They're side by side on the exit. Kai is going to have the DRS, but Softy has the battery. It's going to be very interesting to see as they get down towards turn number 4. Side by side. Kai's got the inside line. Softy on the outside. They're still side by side. They're wheel banging their way through 4. Heading towards 6. Softy's going to have the inside line through 6. Kai, is he going to try and hang it around the outside? No. He's going to try and get the cut back on the inside towards turn 7. Is he going to be close enough? No, he is not. Softy in the lead. Kai all over the back of him. Casper is in 3rd. And Lewis Craig lurking in the background, hoping for these lot have an accident. 2 more corners to go. I don't think it's going to quite be enough. Is Casper going to go for a move on the run down to the line? No. Softy wins the race in Austria. Kai is in 2nd. Casper is in 3rd. Lewis Craig picks up 4th place. Cam is going to come home 5th. And what a race that was between that top 4 group.
What a Grand Prix. Phil Bargeville stole a position from Machine Ireland at the end for 8th. Chris Johnson picks up some points as well in 11th. But what a battle it was. Even in the midfield between Jack and Dan the Man and Cam was a great battle. But that top 4 battle doesn't tell the story. Obviously Lewis 3.4 behind, but it doesn't tell the true story. What a battle it was. And I tell you what, P4 for Lewis, If he said at the beginning of the night he would have been gutted with P4, I would have been saying, what are you talking about? What a showing it was from the Haas man. But Softy, just when it matters most, he seems to pull it out the bag, doesn't he, the Aston Martin driver? 2 great races again.
Yeah, 2 superb performances from Softy. Double victory for the Aston Martin driver. Cam gets driver of the day, but hey, it could have gone to any one of those top 4 in my opinion. They had such a great scrap, monumental scrap, pretty much all race long, that top 4. They shot away from the group behind very early doors in this race, and there is Softy celebrating on the podium. But yeah, what Grand Prix that was. 2 cracking Grand Prix tonight in TGP1 for rounds 17 and 18. We've only got one more week of racing left, and I'll quickly tell you where they are. They are at Bahrain and Imola. Imola final round of the season, one-shot qualifying in the 35% race. So there'll be interest in that as the podium is covered in champagne with the drivers celebrating. Let's have a full rundown of those results. The Softcop wins in the Aston Martin in Austria. Kai is in second, and then we've got Casper in third. Then we've got Lewis Craig in fourth, Cam in fifth, Jack Hickey in sixth, Dan the Man in seventh, Phil Bardrow eighth, John is in ninth, Machine Island in 10th. Then we've got Chris Johnson 11th, Dom Smith in 12th, Wet Lemons in 13th, and Lorraine picks up 14th place. She picks up a solitary point, and she'll be taking that back to her show, Lorraine, and taking over from Ranveer Singh. 15th, and the first of the DNF for court. Then we've got Alistair in 16th, Matt Tibos in 17th, and Waze in 18th. So, Jack, final thoughts on those 2 races before we sign off.
Great Grand Prix, as always, on Tuesday nights here in TGP1. Great battles throughout. A couple of safety cars and rain spiced up Monza. Lewis Craig picking up the fastest lap in P4. Great result for him. And I'm not too sure if this is official, but I do believe that is Aston Martin, Chris Johnson and Softy. That is them confirmed as Constructors Champions. So congratulations to them. And I'm just excited for the final round next week and then the break until F1 24.
Yeah, a cracking couple of races. One more week of racing in TGP1 to come up. Like I said, Bahrain and Imola next week, and we'll be back for you for that. But hopefully you did enjoy those 2 belting races tonight. We will see you next time out in TGP1 next Tuesday. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.